This channel may feature copyrighted video and audio content under the guidelines of fair use permitted by copyright statute for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. All content and credit go to the original creators. No copyright infringement is intended. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to MTGV Crime Podcast and MTGV Politics. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me know if you can hear me. Please smack that thumbs up as you come in. So everything is happening today, okay? The victims spoke out, the Epstein victims. They are voting today, the DOJ, to compel them to release the files, the Epstein files. And yeah, it's just a bunch of mess, man. But we gonna look, we are here for it. We want to find out what's going on. So some of the things that happened, like I said, the victims have come out releasing their statements again, asking them to do the right thing. Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene and the president has been into it for a few days here, because she called them out basically, and it's for other reasons we'll get into later. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is a diehard MAGA supporter, and she's also a Republican, and she has a seat. And so we're going to get into it because, like I said, MAGA has been upside down about these Epstein files. They want them released too because from my understanding, that was one of the things that they wanted to happen. And so we're going to get into it, y'all, because it's a lot to cover. And this is actually going to start with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's going to mention her and the president being into it and all of that. So we ain't going to waste no time. Shout out to everybody in the building, and welcome in to all the new subscribers and old. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. Welcome in, y'all.
Did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the president of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, but the real fight will happen after that. While I want to see every single name released so that these women don't have to live in fear and intimidation, which is something I've had a small taste of in just the past few days, just a small taste. They've been living it for years. But the real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files? Or will it all remain tied up in investigations? Will the CIA release the files? Will a judge in New York release the information? That's information that needs to come out. And will the list of names that these women privately hold, and they hold it because of their fear in their heart of what would happen to them if they release it on their own, will that list of names come out? That's the real test. So I want to thank Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna for your bravery in doing something that is much needed in America crossing the political aisle that has become bigger than the Grand Canyon in America. But these men crossed that aisle on behalf of these women. And that is more of what is needed today in America than ever in our history.
Welcome in, y'all.
So thank you so much. Who's next?
Please smack
Ro, I'll
that
let you
thumbs up.
introduce.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marjorie, Representative Greene, for your courage and your words.
Before we get too far into what he got to say, I want to pull up what Marjorie Taylor Greene posted as to why her and the president is into it. And shout out to everybody in the building. Thank y'all for being here. Please smack that thumbs up as you come in. So this is what I found on her social media. Let me get to it. And she said, this is why they are into it. Hold on, let me go to it on my end. It's been kind of nasty. You know, she says she's been getting death threats and all kind of stuff behind this. This was posted 3 days ago. And she said, this and the Epsteinfiles is why I'm being attacked by the president. It really makes you wonder what is in those files and who and what country is putting so much pressure on him. I forgive him, and I will pray for him to return to his original MAGA promises. And then she posted these things. It says Representative Marjorie Greene, and she got an A 100% from the Liberty score. It says Rhino. And then Senate Lindsey Graham, he got a F 43%. It says MAGA. Those are the little things. I forgot to blow them up, but that's what it say. The one that's green, you can read that one. Track, APAC, Marjorie Taylor Greene, receiving from APAC. Okay, and then the original message said, this is her. Good morning. I want to thank everyone who texted me and posted and commented support for me. You all are so kind, and I appreciate your love and support. You too, and support you too. I never thought that fighting to release the Epstein files, defending women who were victims of RAP, and fighting to expose the web of rich, powerful elites would have caused this. But here we are. And it truly speaks for itself. There needs to be a new way forward. The toxic Republican industrial complex thrives on ripping us all apart, but never delivers anything good for the American people whom I love. The pic tells us to hate each other. Fundraisers off why we have to hate each other, and pits Americans against each other to the point of violence and nearing a civil war. This is also wrong. We can have our own differences and differencing opinions, but we can still love and respect one another. We have far more in common than we have apart. I believe in the American people more than I believe in any leader or political party, and the American people deserve so much better than how they have been treated by both sides of the aisle. The way forward is America first, America only, and that may be the most dangerous pursuit of all. Okay. Well, let me see what she said.
Health insurance. They can't afford car insurance. They can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a house. Those are the problems we need to be fixing.
Yeah, and she wasn't for them. When everything was shut down, she spoke her truth because she was concerned about her kids not being able to afford some of this stuff and all of these things. And she said people can't afford health insurance. They can't afford car insurance. They can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a house. Don't stop telling the truth. Okay. So if you're not loyal, she stepped out of bounds. She did not show her loyalty according to the president. And so he said she has lost her way. I see some of y'all in the chat love Molly. Shout out to Gilly in the building. Shout out to Anthony, Michael Young, Thank y'all for dropping down. Please smack that thumbs up. The dog, they're all rats. Okay. So welcome in, y'all. Thank y'all for dropping down. Sure. And 10 Jacks. Shout out to the 218 in the building. We got a 300 thumbs up goal if y'all could help us get to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit play. We're gonna be stopping it along the way.
Introduce our survivors. I just want to say that they will make their statements, and then you can ask questions of Representative Massey, myself, or Representative Greene. But we do not want people asking questions and cross-examining the survivors. They're here to tell their stories, and they should be heard by the American people with respect. Of course, Congressman Massey, myself, and Congresswoman Greene would be happy to answer questions after that. With that, let me introduce the survivor who's helped organize a lot of this, and will be telling her own story and introducing the other survivors. Haley Robson, thank
So I'm streaming on both sides, politics and crime. Can I get y'all on both sides to please smack the thumbs up? It's the only way to go. Support the content, the host, and the content, the host, and the channel by hitting the thumbs up. Help us get out in the algorithm, show more people that we are live, and show your support for the channel. And please subscribe if you have not.
Thank you for your courage and leadership.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Oh, good morning. It's a little chilly coming from Florida. Not used to it. I want everybody to take a look. I know everybody sees us today as grown adults, but we are fighting for the children that were abandoned and left behind in the reckoning. This is who you're fighting for. This is who Congress is fighting for. This is who the House of Representatives are fighting for. And hopefully the Senate will fight for us too. I want to kick this off right, and I want to address Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, and Rokana. I want to express my gratitude for all three of you, and I know, Rokana, we spoke earlier. This is an incredible thing that I'm watching as a Republican, and this is non-political, but for you to go against your own party and to be ostracized, there's no place for political violence. There's no place for intimidation. And I can say firsthand, stepping out against Epstein and his crimes against children, we have all experienced that ourselves. So for you to knowingly put yourselves at risk and put your career at risk is unbelievable to watch. And we are so grateful. I also want to make a proposition for Marjorie Taylor Greene, because you've been an advocate for this. If you decide to read those names on the House floor for immunity, I will be more than happy. No security needed. I will stand beside you. I will hold your hand. I will hold your coat in solidarity with you. And on top of that, I did talk to Jayapal, who said she would be more than happy to read those names too on the floor with all of us. It's time that we put the political agendas and party affiliations to the side. This is a human issue. This is about children. There is no place in society for exploitation, sexual crimes, or exploitation of women in society. There's no room for it, guys. We're not having it. And to the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you. While I do understand that your position has changed on the Epsteinfiles, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill, I can't help to be skeptical of what the agenda is. So, with that being said, I want to relay this message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. You have put us through so much stress, the lockdowns, the halt of these procedures that were supposed to have happened 50 days ago. The Adelita Grijalva, who waited to get sworn in, and then get upset when your own party goes against you because what is being done is wrong. It's not right. For your own self-serving purposes, this is America. This is land of the free. Land of the free. In 1863, we have a woman on top of the Capitol building represent freedom. I do not feel free today. I don't know if the women behind me feel free today. So I am begging every member of Congress, every representative, to step up and choose the chaos, choose the survivors, choose the children, protect the children, all children. You protect all of us equally. Thank you very much for your time. Following that, Lisa Phillips will be the next survivor.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Phillips. It's an honor to stand here again for something America is finally united on: the immediate release of the entire Epstein files. In a divided nation, this is one demand we all share. Last time I stood here, I made a promise to all survivors watching. If those in power refused to release the truth, we would start uncovering it ourselves. For anyone who doubted that, that moment has already arrived. Since that day, more survivors across the country and around the world have reached out: text, emails, DMs, firsthand accounts, and evidence. Many are women who were abused or trafficked through the international modeling pipeline Epstein built, promising visas, apartments, opportunities, futures, while exploiting their dreams for abuse. Most are still terrified to speak publicly because the men involved are powerful. They're connected, and as we know, they're protected. For too long, survivors have watched others speak for us. And while we are grateful for our allies in Congress on both sides, we've realized something. This fight belongs to us. We lived it, and we know the truth. And we will not wait quietly for institutions to decide when we're allowed to speak. The survivors now coming forward have entrusted us with their stories. We are sharing that information with the proper authorities, and when it can safely be made public, it will be. So today, we are launching something historic: the first national survivor-led political movement in America. Nonpartisan, laser-focused on exposing the systems, the loopholes, power structures, and silencing mechanisms that have protected predators for far too long. We are stepping directly into the halls of power, into the political arena. We will help rewrite laws that failed us and build protections for our nation's children together, targeted by sexual exploitation. Together, today, survivors begin our own fight, the survivor revolution. And we intend to change this nation for the better. If you're a survivor who wants to join us, please reach out. And to anyone who benefits from the current system, intentionally or not, remember this: alone, yes, we are afraid, but together, we are feared. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Jenna Lisa Jones, and just as Haley, I would just like to give a little reminder that this was me at 14 years old. I was a child. I was in 9th grade. I was hopeful for life and what the future had held for me. He stole a lot from me at 14. So just a little reminder there for everybody. Sorry. So, I just want to start out by saying thank you for all of you for being here today. I want to start by expressing my deepest gratitude to the members of Congress who have stood with us, the survivors, in demanding the transparency and justice. Your support is a signal that this institution can still serve the American people. This issue was never one that should have divided us the way it has. In fact, it should have united us. Sexual abuse is not a Republican issue. It is not a Democratic issue. It is also not a hoax. We are here as American survivors of a man who used his wealth and power to hurt young girls and women. The world should see the files to know who Jeffrey Epstein was and how the system catered to him and failed us. Emotionally, this process has been distressing. First, the administration said it would release everything and applauded President Trump for that. Then it fought to release nothing. Now that checks and balances of our democracy have worked and the bill is getting passed to release the files, we are hearing the administration say they intend to investigate various Democrats who were friends with Epstein. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership. Show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. It is time to take the honest, moral ground and support the release of these files, not to weaponize pieces of the files against random political enemies that did nothing wrong, but to understand who Epstein's friends were, who covered for him, what financial institutions allowed his trafficking to continue, who knew what he was doing, but was too much of a coward to do anything about it. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were able to recruit and abuse young girls and women. Then the country will learn nothing, and has horrible history will repeat itself if we do not do something about this. Thank you to the brave congressmen and women who have stood by us and recognized our side is the American side, and we should all be proud once again to be Americans. I want to just extend my thank you so much to all three of you very, very much. The first time we were here, listening to the people yell shame at you, and when she was here in support of us, really hit home and spoke some volumes, and I just very much appreciative of your support, and we stand by you. Don't let any of them bully you. We're here for you. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming together today and taking the time to listen to us. Your presence means the world, and it shows commitment to understanding and supporting survivors and Americans. I stand before you today with a heavy heart. I originated from Brazil, and I came to the United States when I was 8 years old. I was only 14 when I first encountered Jeffrey Epstein, and my daughter is now almost at that age. At 14, the only things she should be concerned with are going to school, practicing at her cheerleading competitions, and enjoying her time with her friends and family. She should not have to bear the burden of worrying about being manipulated or exploited. At this age, she is still a child, and no child should ever have to face such threats. I also want to address a troubling statement made by a prominent figure on a major platform who suggested that a 14-year-old should not be considered a victim of pedophilia. This is a dangerous and incorrect notion. When we talk about how children at 14 should still be treated as children, I ask you to look at the young people around you. Remember when you were that age? Do you think you should have been responsible for being groomed? Put yourselves in our position when we were young. I'm here today not to just share my story, but to call on all of you to help make a difference. We need to support to push for the Transparency Act and release the Epstein files. Please reach out to your Congress members and senators and urge them to support this crucial legislation. The truth is something that we all deserve, and it is vital for safety and protection of the future of generations. Think about all the young people in your life, your daughters, your nieces, your friends. Let's stand together and ensure that they grow up in a world where they are safe and valued. I often wondered, why did this happen to me? And then I realized, God only gives you what you can handle. I'm here for a purpose, and that purpose is to make a difference today. So let's stand together to protect our children and our peace. Thank you.
Yes.
Good job.
Good morning. I want to say a few things before I begin. My speech may not be great. It was thrown together last minute as I only came here, decided Friday, when one of us who has spoken several times decided she couldn't come because of the threats. She was too scared. So I want to say, when you threaten one of us, you're threatening all of us.
Yep.
We are together now, and that's never going to change. This is me at 16 when I met Jeffrey Epstein. Now I'll start. It is an honor to stand here before the American people. However, I shouldn't have to stand here at all. I'm here because as a child, I was pulled into Jeffrey Epstein's world, a world built on exploitation and manipulation of innocence and the protection of powerful men and women who believed that they were untouchable. Today, we'd rather be preparing for the holidays. We'd rather be at home with our families, baking with our children and decorating the Christmas tree as we try to move past this horrific moment that has impacted our entire adult lives. However, that's not possible because it's become something it should have never been, political and sensationalized. The truth is simple. We were victimized as children and failed repeatedly by the very system that was supposed to protect us. That's why we stand here today, to demand justice and accountability, not just for Epstein and his crimes, but for every predator and every enabler who participates in or protects abusers. The Epstein case was gravely mishandled consistently and deliberately over many years. Epstein could have been stopped decades ago, but instead he was able to continue his abuse, even during his sweetheart deal. Yes, with his ankle monitor on and beyond. A deal that protected him and silenced us. While I was a child fighting to survive what happened to us, federal prosecutors were negotiating ways to shield powerful adults. And the failures didn't stop there. Our civil cases were met with hostile judges and delay tactics, intimidation, and PR campaigns designed to smear us in the public eye. We were treated as problems to be managed instead of victims to be protected. Today, something has changed. Individually, our voices were whispers. Together, they've become impossible to ignore. We are encouraged to see elected officials from both parties, thank you, come together and finally take action to release the files. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Good job.
Good morning. My name is Wendy, and I'm standing here today with a truth that still scares me to say out loud. I'm going to put this down because I can't hold both, as you guys saw, but that was me when I was 14 when I met Jeffrey Epstein. None of us here signed up for this political warfare. We never asked to be dragged into battles between people who never protected us in the first place. We are exhausted from surviving the trauma and then surviving the politics that swirl around it. When survivors travel to speak, to advocate, to stand for the truth, we do it with our own money, from our own pockets, carrying our own fear, shaking in our own bodies. There is no team, there is no paycheck. It's just us hoping our voices make a difference. And it puts a pit right in your stomach because you know you're standing on the right side of history.
Yes.
But standing on the right side of history is not a comfortable place to be.
Yep.
It never has been. And in a sick, heartbreaking way, it's an honor to show up, an honor to speak here, and an honor to stand in light when the world tried to keep us in the dark. And what keeps me standing is, even with all this fear, I have a 14-year-old daughter myself, the same age I was. And when I look at her, I see the little girl I used to be, the one that no one protected. My greatest fear in this entire world is history repeating itself. And I will do anything, absolutely anything, to make sure that she has to never be one of these girls standing in front of a crowd like this today in her life. So today, from the safest and bravest places inside myself, I am asking Congress, please pass the bill. Please release the records. Stop making survivors fight alone for the truth that should have protected us in the first place. To the representatives that support us, thank you. Thank you for standing beside survivors so we don't have to face this fear alone. Thank you for choosing what is right over what is easy. And every survivor who is scared right now, your fear is real. Your courage is real. And even though we're terrified, we keep showing up because someone has to tell the truth. Someone has to protect these children. We deserve safety then. We deserve it now. And we are done being afraid so others can stay comfortable. So with that, I want to say thank you guys for having us. And I just hope that people can remember that as survivors, our story never leaves us, but the choice that you make to pass this bill, your career is in front of you, and that choice will follow you. Everybody will know. So thank you.
Good job. Well said. You're incredible.
Hello, everybody. My name is Danny Bensky. This was me at 17 years old. Oh, I'm sorry. Coming from the dance world, I was recruited in 2004 after a systematic breaking down where Epstein leveraged my mother's brain tumor scans. He threatened me to withhold care for her. He trapped me in a year-long cycle of abuse. The last time I was here in Washington, D.C., I talked about being a part of this beautiful mosaic of women behind me, and they are exactly that. They are a beautiful mosaic of energy and passion and love and life. I am one story of 1,000. You think of that number, 1,000. I spoke of how big our hopes and dreams once were, and I talked about how they were completely shattered at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Now I look at this amazing community behind me. They are survivor sisters. We are together. We stand together in this. And I realize that we are a representation of women across America. We come from different backgrounds. We have different religions. We are different races, different creeds, different ethnicities. We have different political affiliations. Some of us don't want to be political at all. And yet we stand here together for this cause. We're united in the call for transparency, complete transparency, to find justice. Justice for our younger selves. These pictures that you see, they're real people. I wish I could go back and give my former self a hug and say, this matters and it's going to change, and mean it. We are standing here for justice for the youth of tomorrow, and justice for those who are no longer with us, like the beautiful, brave Virginia Giuffre. We understand that the road is long, but I implore you to stay the course, please. Living in an age where you can get news in 10-second clips on your phone, I know that this is a big task for us, but it's a very personal one for survivors. It's a very personal one for us as a country. So I'd like to ask you to try something right now. I'd like everybody to close their eyes or soften their gaze just for a moment. And I want everybody to think of a child that is close to them between the ages of 14 and 18 years old. It could be your daughter, it could be your niece, it could be a friend's kids, it could be you at a former age, it could be your mother at that age. But really envision that for a second, 14 to 18 years old. Once you think of that person, I want you to think about what they feel like. What is their energy? What do they smell like? What sound do they make when they laugh? Really think about that child just for a moment. Now I want you to picture a pair of giant looming wooden doors and an overbearing marble landing. Those are the doors to Jeffrey Epstein's house. Do you allow that child to enter or not? If the answer is yes, you would allow entrance. You stand with predators. If the answer is no, then congratulations, you're on the right side of justice. Now you have homework. I am calling for the American people. You have homework. Call your congressional leaders. Call your senators. Please support this bill. Let's get it all released. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Annie Farmer, and this is a photo of me and my sister Maria Farmer around the time I was 16 and she was 25. That's how old we were when we were abused by Epstein and Maxwell. Survivors have repeatedly stated that our pursuit of transparency and justice is a nonpartisan issue. But given the political noise surrounding this case, I just want to remind people of some of the facts. In 1996, when my sister Maria bravely blew the whistle on this group by reporting to the FBI what Epstein and Maxwell did to both of us, they hung up on the phone on her, and there was no follow-up of any kind. Bill Clinton was president. In 2006, the FBI came to us, finally interviewed us, and asked us both to be witnesses against Epstein. We were very anxious, but we agreed. And then we didn't hear back from them due to their infamous sweetheart deal. George W. Bush was president. In 2015, when the DOJ was sent FOIA requests for Maria's FBI files, and they were denied, as they have been many times, Barack Obama was president. In 2019, when Epstein died in prison due to either negligence or foul play, Donald Trump was president. In 2023, Maria's attorneys sent a letter on her behalf to the government, requesting an investigation into the repeated law enforcement failures in this case, similar to what was done in the case of Larry Nassar. They declined to do so. Consequently, my sister filed notice that she would be suing the government for failing to uphold its legal, ethical, and moral duties in this case. Joe Biden was president. This year, after campaigning on a pledge to finally release the files, under Trump's second presidency, the DOJ announced they were closing the investigation into Epstein's co-conspirators, and then transferred Ghislaine Maxwell into a prison camp, where it is well documented that she is receiving special treatment. This is not an issue of a few corrupt Democrats or a few corrupt Republicans. This is a case of institutional betrayal. Yeah. Because these crimes were not properly investigated, so many more girls and women were harmed. My sister, because of her bravery, was repeatedly threatened and lived in fear, with dire consequences for her health and her career. 30 years later, even as oceans of allegations and obvious truths have emerged, the government has still not chosen transparency. This is why we have all come together as one united voice to demand the release of all the Epstein files and to finally bring the truth out of the shadows.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of Congress, and everyone gathered here today, I want to start by thanking the three of you. Thank you. It takes a lot of bravery to do what you're doing. We hear you. We see you. It means a lot for you to be here with us, and I know my sister would be incredibly proud. This is the moment she was fighting for and the moment that all survivors are fighting for, so thank you. My name is Sky Roberts, and I stand before you as the brother of Virginia Roberts Giuffre, a warrior, a mother, and a sister whose legacy will forever resonate in the hearts of those who understand the fight against injustice. Today, we find ourselves in a place of deep sorrow, shattered by the loss of our beloved sister. Yet, we are honored and privileged to carry her voice forward and continue her relentless fight alongside her fellow survivor sisters. Virginia's story is one that should have been filled with promise, but instead it became a harrowing tale of exploitation and survival. At just 16 years old, she took a job at Mar-a-Lago, believing she had secured a dream summer position.
Can I get everybody in the building to please support the channel by hitting the thumbs up? I see a couple people did hit the thumbs up, but we don't have enough. And our goal right now is to get to 300, and we have 576 people tuning in. Can I get y'all to double tap the screen and support the content, the channel, and the host? Welcome in, everybody. So yeah, this is the one that was unalived herself, I believe. I don't know how old she was when she did, but her brother has been standing with these women. Every time I see them talk, they had an interview that we actually talked about over here. But yeah, y'all get the thumbs up, support the channel. It doesn't do me any good to be live if y'all not gonna at least hit the thumbs up. It is all the way free. RP Virginia, welcome in. Glenda, if you thank you for hitting it there, but if you could double tap the screen or hit the three dots upper right to get to the thumbs up. Oh yeah, I totally believe that it's gonna be a lot of redaction going on before they get released. It's gonna be little. Yeah, I want people to hit the thumbs up though. That's all I want. We should have already 300 thumbs up with 500 some people in here. So we do need that. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do, y'all. It is not hard. I'm only keep it going because I can't be on here all day. But y'all, please support the channel.
But that dream quickly morphed into a nightmare when Ghislaine Maxwell preyed upon her innocence. This isn't just a story of one girl. It's a story about the insidious nature of power and abuse, a dark chapter in our society that must be told. Virginia was no stranger to trauma. In her memoir, Nobody's Girl, she shares the painful truth that she had already suffered abuse at the hands of our father and a family friend. But what happened next was unfathomable. Epstein and Maxwell didn't just abuse her, they trafficked her to a network of the rich and powerful. Princes, prime ministers, politicians.
So that's why it was that much worse with her. He said his own father and a family friend. Is that what I just heard this man say? That's messed up. So nobody was there to protect.
Memoir, Nobody's Girl. She shares the painful truth that she had already suffered abuse at the hands of our father.
Sick bastard.
And a family friend.
Wow.
But what happened next was unfathomable. Epstein and Maxwell didn't just abuse her, they trafficked her to a network of the rich and powerful. Princes, prime ministers, politicians, financiers, and lawyers. These men committed unspeakable acts against her will, and against the will of countless survivors who stand united with us today. Virginia's strength was tested in many ways that most of us can hardly imagine. She was manipulated, coerced, and threatened, forced into complicity in her own devastation. She often spoke of psychological scars that ran deeper than the physical ones. From the start, she wrote, "They manipulated me into participating in behaviors that ate away at me, eroding my ability to comprehend reality and preventing me from defending myself. The most destructive wound they inflicted was that of forced complicity, a betrayal of self that was crafted by her abusers. But I stand here today to declare that their tactics of fear and intimidation did not work. Virginia's spirit could not be broken. She became a beacon of hope, a warrior, fighting not just for herself, but for every survivor who suffered in silence."
Shout out to Bronze for being a member for over 26 months. Shout out to you. Yes, tell them, let's go. And whoever told me to stop saying unalive, you can get the hell up out of here. I don't say it for you. It's YouTube policies and rules the reason why I say it. If you don't like it, get off of YouTube. Like I follow YouTube rules over here. You don't tell me how to talk. Who the hell you think you talking to?
She said, "I felt it was my duty to stand up to predators like Epstein and Maxwell. I would put my neck on the line to make sure my daughter never has to go through what I had to endure." These survivors like Virginia have transformed into mothers and strong women, fierce in the face of adversity. Many of them have daughters the same age they were when they faced their own abuse. They are determined to break the cycle, to shatter the silence that has kept so many in the shadows. Virginia quoted in her memoir, "There I was, as the mother of 3 children. I felt it was my duty to stand up to predators like Epstein and Maxwell. I mentioned to Ellie in particular, her daughter, I would put my neck on the line to make sure she never has to go through what I had to go through. I said, joining Edward's CVRA case, said what I would want somebody to do for my daughter or sister and friend. In the end, I said, I was just trying to do the right thing. That's what I felt like I'm doing, I said. I'm making a small dent in this big world we live in. Well, sissy,
It definitely is,
you
Brown.
didn't just make a small dent.
Boy, he is really balling worse than all the women. But of course, his sister is not here to stand there in the gaps with everybody else. This is sick. And there's so many people protecting this. I mean, I just feel like it's a bunch of gaslighting going on. It's going to be another trick after this. I know they in votes and all of that, but how much are they really going to release? This man is having a horrible time. I mean, who wouldn't, though? His sister is no longer here. Oh, did I put that in here? I was trying to put a picture in. Y'all, please smack the thumbs up. Let me see if it went in. This is some of the ladies. I don't know how many of them are standing up there, but this will let you get a better look of them when they were younger and all of that stuff. It might be hard for some people to feel for them because they looking at some older women right here, but they wasn't older when it happened. They were children. I'm trying to figure out why were they around these men? Like, where were they parents? Where were their mothers at? Like, why were they allowed around these men? I'm not blaming them at all, but I am curious to know who authorized this. How was they meeting Ghislaine for her to get her hands on them? And we do know that she been moved to a better place where she ain't talking, and she kind of changed her story. Y'all, please smack the thumbs up if you haven't. We looking at Pt.1 on one channel. That's the only one I can see. But can I thank y'all to the one that just hit the thumbs up? Please double tap that screen, y'all, to thumbs up.
You made a monumental impact.
Or just hit
a resounding statement that echoed across the world. You built an unbreakable wall, a barrier that will protect future generations from the horrors of abuse. As we gather here today, I urge each of you, members of Congress, advocates, and all those who hear this message to join us in this fight. We demand justice, accountability, and support for survivors. And we keep getting asked this. What does justice mean, you ask? It starts with acknowledgement. That's the first step. Acknowledge in the face of survivors that this happened and that this is true. Your vote carries that weight. My sister is not a political tool for you to use. These survivors are not political tools for you to use. These are real stories, real trauma, and it's time for you to stop just talking about it and act. Vote yes. Yes. Virginia's legacy is not just hers. It belongs to all of us who stand against injustice. Together, we will ensure that the voices of survivors are heard, that the truth prevails, and that the horrors of the past are never repeated. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for standing with us. Together, we will not let Virginia's fight be in vain. Together, we will not let the predators win. Together, we will be the change this world desperately needs. Yep. Thank you.
It was so beautiful.
Yes. This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein in 1991. I always share the date when I talk about my story because people rarely acknowledge how long this has actually been going on. And for too long, truth has been buried, survivors have been silenced, and powerful people have been protected.
Shout out to AF for sending the flower. Thank you. I appreciate it. And welcome in to everybody. Shout out to the 195 on the crime channel that hit the thumbs up. And shout out to the 285 in the building over there. Can I get 285 thumbs up over there? And 64 on politics with 53 thumbs up. Can we get 64? So we don't have, it's just weird how this algorithm works. But welcome in to everybody. Please smack the thumbs up by double tapping the screen, hitting the thumbs up, or hitting the three dots up or right to get to the thumbs up. It helps the channel, y'all, and it don't cost you a dime.
And today we stand in a moment that will decide whether our government still belongs to the American people or to those who prey on them. Because when mountains of evidence and decades of victim reports across 5 administrations still lead to sweetheart deals or no prosecution at all, this isn't just one case gone wrong. It's an institutional failure on a historic scale, and every member of Congress in this administration must answer for that failure. Millions of sexual abuse survivors know the pain of speaking up and watching the institutions that are meant to protect them look away. We're not alone in this.
Thank you, NY Deb, for your thumbs up and subscription. Shout out to my new subscriber in the building. And shout out to Crime for the 203 thumbs up. I appreciate y'all. Let's see if politics can catch up.
Epstein may be the headline, but the betrayal reaches every corner of our country. And if our justice system can collapse this completely for so long, then Congress cannot pretend that the system is working. Not for us, and not for the generations that will live with the consequences of what they choose now. One long overdue step towards repairing this damage is the Epsteinfiles Transparency Act. Because without transparency, there's no accountability. Without accountability, there is no justice. And without justice, democracy dies.
Yeah.
So representatives, you have a choice to show millions of Americans whether you stand with us or with the powerful predators that are counting on your complicity. Thank you.
Yeah. Good job.
Good morning. This is me. This was me. My name is Charlene Rochard, and I stand before you today not as a victim of rumor or conspiracy, but as a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse. Far too long, survivors like me have been dismissed, silenced, or told that our pain was exaggerated or fabricated. Let me be clear. This is not a hoax.
Yes, it's not.
What we endured was real, and it has scarred lives across 5 presidential administrations. The truth has been buried in sealed files and hidden records for far too long. The Epsteinfiles Transparency Act is not just about survivors. It's about America itself. How can we keep America great if the principles the nation was founded on, that power belongs to the people, is not protected? No one, no matter how wealthy and well-connected, stands above the law. If we cannot face the truth, then we betray the very ideals that defines us as a country. By passing this act, Congress has the chance to prove that truth matters more than privilege, that justice matters more than influence, and that America has the courage to confront even the most uncomfortable realities. This is not just about survivors. It's about every American who believes in accountability, fairness, and the promise of justice. I stand here today not only for myself, but for every survivor of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse who has carried this burden in silence, and for every citizen who believes that justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes.
I want to thank Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey for standing with us. Thank you. And I especially want to thank Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her unwavering support, her courage to stand with us and demand transparency gives us strength. Thank you. It shows that this fight for accountability is bigger than politics. It's about humanity, justice, and truth. This is about America's future. It's about whether we, the people, will be heard when we have the courage to stand for truth and justice. Our voices are real. Our pain is real. And our demand for justice will not be silenced. Thank you.
Amen.
Hello.
Good for you, girl. You did amazing.
My name is Laura Bloom McGee. This is my first time speaking publicly about my abuse. As a young woman in New York City, I was pursuing a modeling career and building a life of giving back through my philanthropic work. Instead, I was intentionally groomed and became part of an international model sex trafficking ring that was led by Jeffrey Epstein. I was sexually and mentally abused by Jeffrey Epstein. He used my dreams and vulnerabilities to silence me. Today, I am here to break that silence. Sex trafficking and sexual abuse are crimes against human beings, not political talking points. For too long, Epstein's abuse was an open secret, with his network remained protected. Evil thrives in darkness. We must shine a light on every corner where it hides. Nothing should be off limits in the search for truth. Please vote that everything in the files be released. Let investigations proceed without obstruction. Demand oversight and deliver justice. The government must never side with predators. I come as one survivor, but I stand here for everyone who prayed for me, who believed in me, and who hoped for me. To my fellow survivors, your courage brought me here. We are more than victims. We are mothers, daughters, sisters, friends. This is not a hoax, and we will not be erased. Shame on any elected official who obstructs truth and justice for the American people.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen. Yeah, girl.
My name is Liz Stein. In 1994, I was a senior in college, just 21 years old. I had aspirations of attending law school after graduation, and it looked like I had a bright future ahead of me. 1994 was also the year I met Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. My involvement with them changed the trajectory of my entire life. The Epstein files are not about loyalty to any one political party. They're evidence of a crime. We stand here today, victims of the crime of sex trafficking. I'm here today speaking both for my 21-year-old self and for the countless number of people who have experienced sexual violence. When I am asked what I would tell my younger self if I could say something, I say that I would tell myself to tell someone. And if they don't listen, to tell someone else. And to just keep telling until someone listens. And even if nobody listens to you, you should be proud of yourself because you stood in your uncomfortable truth when others could not. And that is true bravery. We stand here today as survivors, part of a sorority that none of us asked to join. We have told our stories over and over and over. Now it's time to see who was listening. We ask that you vote to release the files, all of them, so the victims of this crime can finally see justice. Thank you.
Amen. Yes. Go, girl.
Well, hello, everyone. And I want to first say thank you for your ongoing leadership. I know it must not be easy thing to do, much like it's not easy for us to be doing this.
So I know that while all of this stuff is going on, the House is also voting, and they have voted for the Epstein files to be released. It says the House takes major steps. The chambers has overwhelmingly passed the bipartisan bill to compel the Justice Department to release all of its case files tied to the convicted SA offender Jeffrey Epstein, a dramatic turnaround after months of GOP infighting. The government voted 427 to 1 to advance the measures, with GOP Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana, the only member voting against it. So the next steps, the measure now heads to the Senate, where the GOP leaders must quickly decide if they will send it to President Trump's desk. The president has said that he'll sign the bill if Congress passes it after a spark reversal in his position. Okay, so what do y'all think about that? We gonna go, do y'all want to go to that or keep listening to this? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all want me to switch the video. Put a 2 in the chat if you want me to stay here. Let me know. I'm going to keep it playing until I see the numbers. 1 in the chat to go to the next video.
I guess we're in this together. So thank you so much. I feel like our courage has, we're reflecting, mirroring courage, because that's what it takes to do this, right? So this was me at 22 years old. I was not a child, technically, very young adult. I imagine most of you here can relate to the mindset and to be 22 years old. So today is a good day, and I thank God for that. It's widely and undeniably clear that our current political climate is quite rigid and seemingly at war with one another. This sets a stage. This sets a stage for voices, survivor voices, to get spoken over and drowned out by the political darts whizzing by. Not today, though. Today, our truth and our power have steadily risen up. We are at the peak. Our voices prevail today. Our voices initiated the coming together of both political parties. That's pretty big, I think. Republicans and Democrats, we all stand together today. We all stand together for justice, and we must continue to do so to protect the integrity of our country and our democracy. Truth and justice must prevail. The children today are those that will lead this nation one day. Think about that. What does that mean to each of you? If anyone doubts that this does not directly contribute to the fate of our country and democracy, I challenge you and I urge you to think again. Our voices are a fundamental pillar of future generations. Today, that's what we stand here for. Accountability, action, and justice. Let's get this vote done today. Let's send it through the Senate and straight to President Trump's desk for signing. I'd like to be there that day that he signs. I'm sure all of us would like to be there. Today is a good day, and let's keep moving forward. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that is a nice segue.
Hey guys, we're actually pressed for time, so we are not going to be taking questions.
Yes,
going
we
further.
are pressed for time. So I see a lot of ones in the chat for the people that heard me say, put a 1 in the chat if you want to go to the next video. So we're gonna go to the votes to see what happened there. How did it all play out? But in the meantime, while all of this stuff is going on, this is what was going on at the White House, and then we're gonna get to the votes. All of this stuff going on at the same time, y'all. This was like 2 hours ago. So he's this guy arrived with this problem. So we got that going on. I mean, it just don't stop. It is really busy with President Trump. I tell you that. But we gonna go to the files right now. I got it put up.
The maximum possible level of transparency when it comes to the heinous crimes.
Let's see what they were talking about.
An extraordinary display of bipartisanship.
Marjorie first, I think. Let's go to her.
Epsteinfiles, finally, after 5 administrations have covered it up. Earlier today, I attended the press conference where the survivors, they're not victims, the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse and
Triggered.
sex trafficking told their stories. And they told stories about how it started back in 1991, 1996, and they continued on through the decades. And they told stories about how they told someone and tried to get help. They told the FBI and they weren't listened to. And they told law enforcement and no one did anything. And these women don't just number a few. These women number around 1,000 women.
The hell?
And they are victims of something that's unthinkable. And this should have never, ever happened. This was the biggest fight I think I've seen in Washington, D.C. This is my 5th year here. And this was a fight that we should have never had to wage. It should have been the easiest thing for every single member of Congress. It should have been the easiest thing for the Speaker of the House. It should have been the easiest thing for the President of the United States to release all the information, every single file, on behalf of these American women. These American women aren't rich, powerful elites. They do not have someone paying for their airline tickets or paying for their trips or paying for their expenses every time they try to do something to get this information out. These are your average Americans. And you want to know what the Epstein files represent? The cover-up represents to average Americans. It represents the failures of the federal government and Congress to the American people. And that is what people rose up about in 2024. They wanted and demanded transparency from their government and for Americans finally to be put first. And today, with this vote, we are finally putting these victims and these survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and the cabal of rich, powerful elites that expands not just here in the United States of America, but to other countries as well. We're putting them last. And that is exactly what Americans want. You see, for far too long, Americans have been put last. And they're sick of it. They're sick and tired of it. And this is why they don't trust Congress. This is why they don't trust the government. And here's the problem. All of these women who have suffered in shame for years and years and years, women who were terrified, women who were intimidated, women who were threatened, just like Virginia Giuffre. And now she's dead. And these women should have never faced that, for this information to come out. And we, especially the 4 Republican members of the House of Representatives, we should have never faced intimidation and threats for us to get this vote to come to the floor. Never forget, there were 4. Thomas Massie, myself, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. We had to sign a discharge petition, and we had to fight through intimidation, and we had to endure it for months to push that discharge petition finally to 218 to get this vote to come out. This is what the American people are sick of, and rightfully so. Now, where does this go from here? The question will remain. Will the Department of Justice release all the information? Will a judge in New York release the information? Will the CIA release the information? And will foreign governments release their information? Or will this continue after this vote today be a cover-up? A cover-up of the rich, powerful elites that bond together.
What do y'all think it'll be?
Sex and human trafficking abuse and all types of global business that enriches them but never serves Americans. The American people will know, and the victims, actually the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, will know because they know the list of names.
I don't think people realize, but when you talk about make America great again and you want to go back in history, they used to marry 10-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? They used to drop down like, yeah, I want your 10-year-old, your 12-year-old. They want to go back to that. That's what it's looking like to me. What y'all think?
And I remain dedicated to my promise to read those names here on the House floor if those women ever find them in a place that it needs to be done. I yield back to Mr.
Gentlelady from Georgia yields back. Gentleman from Kentucky reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
And so since I had touched on Marjorie and the president being into it, that's why, because she's going against what he say. You cannot be MAGA unless you stand 10 toes down with what he say, right? So it's been a lot of mudslinging. He took his endorsements away and all of this stuff. I got to get to it, so I'm going to let it keep going.
I reserve, Mr.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I yield myself a minute and 30 seconds.
Gentleman's recognized for a minute.
I want to thank the generosity of Jim McGovern, Representative McGovern, for granting us this time. I'm embarrassed for my own party today. I'm embarrassed we withheld signing in, swearing in a duly representative of the people for 49 days just to avoid this vote that's finally going to happen today. I'm embarrassed that my own party isn't going to yield me time to debate this, even though they say they support it and I authored it. They don't even want to yield me time to debate this during the bill debate. But I'm thankful. Let me tell you who I'm thankful to. These three brave women, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mason, Lauren Boebert, they have been threatened. They have been intimidated. Physically, politically, it's disgusting. And not by the far left. They have been intimidated by people in our own party. And for what? For seeking justice for these victims. So my hat's off. I congratulate them for standing strong. I've always wondered, where were the Republican men during this battle? We've taken 5 months. These three women and I have had to drag our party to this floor today to even vote on this. And Ro Khanna is the most to be thanked here in an extraordinary display of bipartisanship. He did not hesitate when I asked if we wanted to bring this bill to the floor together, if he would stand in the trenches with me. He said yes. With that, I reserve.
Gentleman reserved. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Somebody says sell out. So yeah, so what he's talking about, they talking a lot about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so it says here that President Trump has rescinded his endorsement of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, labeling her a traitor after she criticized his foreign policy and led a push for releasing Epsteinfiles. And then in a CNN interview, Greene apologized for her role in toxic political citing of assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk as a catalyst for change, while accusing Trump of prioritizing foreign interests. So, I was making sure I wasn't on mute. So the feud has exposed Republican division, with MAGA supporters criticizing Greene and Democrats praising her stance ahead of the White House vote for Epstein. And people are calling her a traitor too. Somebody with the name MAGA says she's been hated by the right for 1 day and just had to hire security. Who are the violent ones? They said. And let me see. MAGA is a toddler throwing. No, it says Molly. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a toddler throwing a baby fit because Trump wouldn't endorse her for a Senate run where she would have been humiliated. And no, I don't think that's true. But that's what he said. We'll keep it going. It's all kind of fights going on at every angle. That's what we looking at here.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Boy, we need to get facts straight here. President Trump's DOJ in his first term arrested and prosecuted Jeffrey Epstein.
Follow the money, huh?
We on our side want justice to prevail in this case and in every case. Speaker Johnson has always been clear that if the discharge petition reached the necessary signatures, that the House would consider the legislation, and that's what we're providing for in our rule today. In fact, as soon as the petition hit 218 votes last Wednesday, House Republicans offered a unanimous consent request to pass the legislation then. However, the Democrat leader would not give consent to do that last week.
That's crazy.
Why? Because they're not really interested in this. They're interested in some other things. And Mr. Speaker, I have to correct the record. Mr. Massey did not request time from me. I'm the person who controls the time on the Republican side, and he did not request time from me, or I would have given him time.
Yeah, we definitely know they want to take it back to slavery, but I don't think they thought about the 10 and 12-year-olds. But yeah, that's exactly when I first heard Make America Great Again, that's the first place I went to. And I knew in my heart that's where they was trying to take it back to. That's exactly what it is. No vote was needed if Trump would okay the release. Yeah, that's crazy. As a matter of fact, I was gonna put something else in here too, because y'all already know it's pictures of them from back in the day, and somebody released like some of his old statements that he said, and clearly he said something about that him and Jeffrey Epstein like the same type of women or something crazy like that.
I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I'd like to now recognize the gentlelady from South Carolina for 5 minutes, Nancy Mace.
Gentlelady from South Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank my colleagues today for the time, Mr. McGovern and Mr. Khanna, for the 5 minutes on the floor to speak about an issue that is not political for me. Helping the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and his horrific, gruesome, brutal sex trafficking ring is deeply personal. And while we often have many disagreements about a lot of issues, maybe most issues, today they are allowing us to speak on the floor. And I want to thank my colleagues, Congressman Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Lauren Boebert, the four of us making history today over the discharge petition and delivering justice for those who have desperately fought for it for, in some cases, almost 30 years.
I guess Marjorie just want what Trump said he would do. He actually said he was going to release him, didn't he? Didn't he say all of that? He promised MAGA that he was going to release the stuff. That's what I heard. Let's see what this lady, Megyn Kelly, is saying.
Republicans don't want to see their people on a breakup between Marjorie Taylor Greene and President Trump. And I have to say, I don't like this at all. Just as we fell in love with MTG, she broke up with Trump. We did not fall in love with MTG because she started saying anti-Trump things. We just thought she was interesting. But she, at the same time, was getting interesting to like the ladies of The View and now CNN. And now I'm like, I don't know exactly what's happening here. She and Trump are fighting ugly. He calls her Marjorie Traitor Greene now. She's saying that these comments are endangering
He
her
called her Traitor Brown, Marjorie Taylor Brown, too. Something about the grass being brown or something.
And she did a thing that no conservative should do. I mean, truly, just it shouldn't be done. She went on CNN to rip on Trump / not other Republicans, but Trump. Ben Shapiro did it the other day, too, and got all sorts of blowback for it. Like, Republicans don't want to see their people on CNN. You know, it's one thing if you're Scott Jennings and you're taking on a table of Democrats fighting for Trump, but it's another to see, like, you go into the den of the enemy and start bashing your own team. So, and MTG is not dumb. So she did that for a reason. I don't totally understand it yet, but.
Well, she's standing her ground. That's what she's doing. What do y'all think about Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I wore white today because I wanted to reflect on the innocence of the young women who had their innocence stolen from a demon named Jeffrey Epstein, from demons, friends of his, rich and powerful people who stole their innocence as young as 14 years old. It was taken from them and they've never gotten it back. I'm also wearing white today to recognize the courage that it takes for women to come forward, the sacrifices to them personally, professionally, financially, the embarrassment, the humiliation, the shame that we still deliver on the backs of women who have been brutalized, who've been raped, who've been assaulted.
Triggered.
The shame that the media pours over their heads, that their colleagues, their friends, their neighbors, their loved ones, because you come forward and because you talk about sexual assault, you are not a slut. It's not because of what you wore. You're not a whore. But that's how women are treated, and you're not lying. And I want every woman to know, every Epstein survivor to know, every woman across the country who is a survivor, who is a victim of assault, that today we see you. And this fight and this vote tonight, I see it is about the Epstein victims, but it's about.
Yeah, that's kind of twisted. Some of these men, they want that. First of all, they were kids at the time, so they want to corrupt them and then disrespect them in the process. I mean, you disrespecting them anyway because you taking their innocence, but every man want this in secrecy, right? Just so they can dog them. So that should say a lot about the man. And here's what Trump had to say about Marjorie.
Her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, he says.
Marjorie Traitor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her. Okay, what about you?
Are you negotiating?
That's what he had to say. Marjorie Traitor Greene.
Much more than the Epstein victims. This is about the powerless, taking power away from the very powerful. This is about giving women who never had a voice, giving a voice to the voiceless.
Marjorie is a traitor because she's sitting right there with the victims that he don't want to be exposed. He don't want to expose the stuff. Trump is still gargling something. He's disgusting. They were RAP'd. How come these people are not in prison? They only charge one person. Yeah, that's crazy. That's how far they will go. They knew that he was about to be president again. They was protecting all of this. I think all of this stuff is already written. Okay, like it's already arranged. I don't know. But anyway, this is something else that she had to say. Is this her on CNN? I don't know what
myself and my own
so
words and
it's certain things he don't like. He always calls CNN fake news, and I guess he don't like The View either. And she went on a little interview spree. Let's see what she's saying here.
Congresswoman, you posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly,
Right,
I'm
Quinn.
sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad.
So somebody asked, what year did Epstein get arrested? It says here that he was arrested again by federal agents in July 6, 2019 at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey on federal charges of sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy to commit trafficking. He pleaded not guilty to these charges but was denied bail. He died by unaliving himself a month later. Dang, I didn't know he got taken out that quick. I didn't follow this. So it says, dang, so July 6th he was arrested, and by August 10th he was dead. Wow. Interesting. Thanks for asking.
Encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today.
He sure was.
America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
Yes, this is wild. Okay, so let's see. She now got security and getting all these threats and all of this for doing the right thing. This is the right thing, right?
This is about their sacrifice. This is about having and recognizing their courage. This is about justice for the Epstein victims, but it's also about hope. Earlier this year, I gave a speech right here on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives detailing trauma that I experienced, endured, and am a survivor of, that I accidentally uncovered 2 years ago, almost to the day. And today, I still don't have justice, like millions of women across the country. When I spoke out, I got attacked. When I spoke out, I was shamed. When I spoke out, I was defamed and smeared. And that goes on today, right now, in the present. God sure has a funny way of working through us. I, like many of the Epstein survivors and many other survivors across the country, I don't think I will ever heal from the destruction my abuser did to me. But I can heal by being a vessel and being a voice for all those who need it. And that's why we are here today. That is why I will never abandon a single survivor ever. And I will never waver. I spent my morning talking to law enforcement and others about
now that's something I didn't think of. Let me let her finish her sentence.
Another potential Jane Doe number 5, who may be another sexual assault victim in the.
Okay, now that I've been hearing about other countries having pictures or something, and somebody said something about Putin having something of Trump allegedly doing something foul. I don't know how true that is, but that is interesting. Natasha said, yes, they cleaned the files, but more files will be coming from other countries. His name will show on those. Wow. That's going to be interesting. I wasn't thinking about non-redacted stuff from other countries. Let's keep going.
Case that I uncovered 2 years ago. It's very difficult for us to come forward, but I want to thank the women who have, the Epstein victims, the victims in the case that I uncovered. I want to thank all of you for being a voice, for giving me hope. Maybe one day I too can get justice. Thank you, and I yield.
Lady yields back. Gentleman from Kentucky reserves. Gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Our colleagues want Americans to believe that this discharge petition and underlying legislation are the be-all and end-all in this investigation. However, it's House Republicans who've worked tirelessly to achieve true justice for victims. To date, the significant information that has come out has come from the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. As a result of its issuing 13 subpoenas, we've released 65,000 pages of documents from the Department of Justice, the Epstein estate, which was not mentioned in the underlying legislation, former U.S. attorney, and others. Let me state again, the unanimous consent request to pass the legislation immediately last week was blocked by the minority leader. Full stop. If Democrats truly cared about finding justice immediately for victims, this legislation would have been passed last week. Instead, they want political theater to capitalize on.
Shout out to everybody listening in on crime. Thank y'all for the 244 thumbs up. We still have a goal of 300 that we ain't nowhere near on politics. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up, can you please do that and subscribe to the channel if you have not? We talked about politics and we talk about crime. I have 2 channels, so make sure you connect to both if you into crime. We really get into that. But thank y'all to everybody that hit the thumbs up over there. I greatly appreciate y'all. And thank you to the few people that hit the thumbs up over here. But can we crack 100 at least? Goodness gracious, it's so important. Somebody said that nope, the victim wouldn't be happy unless they got a lot of money. And somebody else said money would not help any victim. I mean, I don't take light of this. I don't know why it took so long. I don't know. I mean, obviously it took so long because they was protecting this. I mean, and now they really protecting it. And I just don't, well, I get it. The people at the top, obviously they didn't have a problem with it. Only it depends on who you are. Just like I was trying to figure out for the longest, why didn't, Hugh Hefner go down? Didn't he have underage girls at the Playhouse or Playboy Mansion or wherever his old behind was at doing all this? And then they got Diddy for whatever, which I don't protect any of them, and I think they are disgusting. But I just feel like everybody should go down for it, not just certain people. If you got a lot of money, that's not okay. I don't agree with it. I feel like they all should go down, and I definitely don't. I don't blame the victims. I blame their parents. Why was this going on for the ones that was minors? I don't understand that. But maybe they approved of it. Maybe they didn't. I mean, I know with Diddy, some of those parents and some of these celebrities, parents, they hand their kids off to these people. All they gotta have is a couple of dollars to do it. So I really don't know, because I didn't follow this case at all. We just following everything right now. I didn't follow politics either until now, because there's so much happening. We gotta pay attention.
House Republicans, on the other hand, remain focused on truth, accountability, and delivering real justice for Epstein's victims, not political points. I reserve.
Reserves. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, may I inquire as to how much time I have remaining?
Terrible.
Gentleman has 5.5 minutes remaining.
I yield myself 3.5 minutes.
Gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, all that is necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. And we've had a lot of good men doing a lot of nothing on the other side of the aisle until we did something. 3 brave women and myself and the Democrat caucus. We did something. And then what did they do? They've opposed us every step of the way. They've lied about the legislation. Let me tell you some of the lies that they've told.
Okay, we gonna get to some of them lies. Let me see what y'all saying. Hold on. It's ridiculous though. It's like they want to protect this. For a minute, I was hearing that they wanted to legalize prostitution, and you see how they was doing, all of the stuff, giving kids the rights to, legally to be able to say that they wanted to be transgender, like putting more responsibility on children. Just so what? You could grow them up faster. Let's make them adults at 14, since that seems to be the age that these people like here. But anyway, Barbara said I agree, because they are a whole lot. It's a whole lot of them there, and I got some myself that I know, and I'm trying my best to say what's happening. Man. Yeah, it's a lot of them. I mean, I'm covering the Naziah Harris case that's full of them. Detroit is protecting them. There's no way that this stuff can happen in these cities. And I'm talking about on a big scale. Now I'm talking about like these masseuses and different things that they open out, these shops, car shops or whatever that they open, and they do a little business, but they do more of the dirty business in there with children. And there's no way that the leaders of these cities don't know what's going on. They know everything moving and shaking. They know the drug dealers, the pimps, the hoes. They know everybody. And if they getting away with it, is because they are the higher ups. It's somebody it's somebody that's authorizing it in law in different areas of. Anyway, y'all know what I'm trying to say, without accusing people without proof. But we already know that nothing happens in these cities on a big level without the leaders knowing what the hell going on. And when it's protected for so long, it's because somebody big been protecting it and preventing it from coming out.
They've said that it doesn't protect victims. Well, if that is so, why were dozens of victims with us today at a press conference urging this body to pass this legislation? It's because this legislation specifically protects victims. They've said this legislation does not prevent the release of child pornography. Of course it does. We have a specific provision in our legislation.
Yeah, they protect the nasty people
to prevent that. They've said so many falsehoods about this legislation, but now they're going to vote for it, hopefully enthusiastically. But really, they've been drugged to this.
This another game too. They can drag this out too. It's gonna be interesting, but the bottom line, everybody already know what it is. They don't want it to be. They protecting it because they don't want it to be exposed, because they want it to continue on.
Our judicial system is broken. If it were working, there wouldn't be 1,000 victims who haven't seen justice yet. They are victims of the Epstein class. I begrudge nobody success that they become a billionaire. But if you think being a billionaire or buying politicians keeps you out of the judicial system, lets you rape young women, lets you traffic women, you've got another thing coming when this bill passes. Do not let the Senate muck this up. There have already been efforts to derail this, our discharge petition. The Oversight Committee has released.
I mean, if they legalize prostitution and all that, that's just going to usher in this other stuff. And that's what was happening with the other things, too, that was unheard of with the transgender and giving minors the opportunities to say what they want at a minor age when you can't drink or drive at a certain age. I mean, like, come on. It's just a way to get more things weird to happen. That's what I see. You got to protect something. And just like who said that it's $1 billion business, Sharon, exactly, all about the money. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and people are utilizing it through child protective custody. They are taking children straight out of CPS and moving them out of town and making them slaves, whatever kind of slaves they choose to have them as. I mean, specifically, there was a case where a white couple, they adopted like 5 black kids, had them all except for one, which was like a 3-year-old that got to sleep in the house with them, right? But the older kids had to sleep in the barn somewhere with the rest of the damn animals. And so people find their ways to get these kids. Legal child nappers, CPS. I covered too many cases where these kids are, man, they the least protected. And then you got the parents losing their mind, hurting these children. But yeah, they the least protected, man, and the most sought out. They are taking children from game systems. They now picking up, the kidnappers ain't finding your kids outside. They coming to your house to pick them up through a game system, y'all.
Thousands, tens of thousands of documents. That's fine. Keep working. How many names have you released? 0. You are still protecting, or the DOJ is protecting, pedophiles and sex traffickers. The time for that to stop is now. Now, our speaker says, oh, this bill needs amended in the Senate. And specifically, he's trying to create a loophole. He's trying to categorize the pedophiles as victims. He's saying, oh, we don't embarrass the people that went to the rape island. We should protect those names against unreliable accusations. Is he calling all of these victims unreliable? They've testified to the FBI. The FBI has these names in their possession. I asked the FBI director in a hearing, have you looked at the documents? No, he trusts everybody that's been there for decades. That is wrong. Do not let the Senate muck this bill up. And if you're a party to that in the Senate, you are part of this cover-up that we are trying to expose. I am sorry if one of your billionaire donors is going to get embarrassed because he went to Rape Island. That is what they have coming. In fact, they need to be on the other side of bars, a lot of them. Some of them will be embarrassed, but some of them need to go to prison, and the survivors know that. So how will we know if this bill has been successful? We will know when there are men, rich men in handcuffs being perp walked to the jail. And until then, this is still a cover-up. I urge my Senate colleagues, do not muck up this bill. The president has already said he will sign it. That means he will sign the bill that we have here today. Do not change this bill. He is ready to sign it. Give it to him. Put it on his desk. Let's get justice for these victims. With that, I reserve.
The gentleman from Kentucky reserves. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Reserve.
The gentlelady reserves.
Is the gentlelady prepared to close?
Yes, I am, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized.
I yield the remainder of my time to Ranking Member Mr. McGovern.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Thank you. First, let me say how much I admire the courage of my Republican colleagues who are beside me here today. Mr. Speaker, and at the end of the day, this is not about us, and it's not about politics. This is about the survivors, young girls who were exploited by powerful men who use money and power to take advantage of girls, some as young as 11 years old. The President of the United States calls it all a hoax. Can you imagine that? What an evil and disgusting thing to say. These young girls, now women, the survivors, what happened to them was horrific. They were sexually abused, many of them for years, and the President of the United States calls it all a hoax. What kind of messed up, sick in the head, immoral person says something like that? This bill is about making sure powerful men are held accountable. It's about demanding truth and transparency for the American people. Now, Republican leaders in this House lost control of this story. They lost the ability to hide behind procedure, and they lost the luxury of pretending that they were ever on the right side. The American people see it, survivors see it, and history will see it. And listening to the Speaker of the House's press conference today, I mean, it sounds like he basically wants to kill this whole thing. He's trying to obstruct and derail the process. Why the hell is he fighting so hard to do the opposite of what the survivors want? What an awful, awful thing to do. So let us release the files. Let's give survivors the transparency they've long been denied. Let us take back power from the rich billionaire elites who think they can do whatever they want with no justice or accountability. And let's remember exactly who had to be dragged here under duress and who stood up from day one demanding the truth. And with that, I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities towards the president. Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from North Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, those of us who did not sign the discharge petition are just as concerned about the victims, or if you, as some are calling them, survivors, as our colleagues who signed the discharge petition. We share contempt for anyone who abused anyone else. I've stood on this floor many times, Mr. Speaker, to speak out for victims and survivors of people who have been abused, and against anyone who breaks the law or takes advantage of an innocent person. We will not be characterized as insensitive to that. But what House Republicans who didn't sign the discharge petition remain focused on truth, accountability, and delivering real justice for Epstein victims. Again, I'll point out that it was under President Trump's Department of Justice that Jeffrey Epstein was arrested and tried.
So somebody posted, this MFer actually said he wasn't with Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell all of the time. Pictures tell a much different story. Not to mention some of the interviews and stuff that was done back then.
We have not tried to avoid this situation. We want things done the right way. We want maximum justice for these victims and survivors. Our rule today simply expedites consideration of the Massey-Khanna legislation. And as I said, we would have liked to have seen it pass last week when we gave an opportunity for it, but it was blocked by the Democrat minority leader. I ask for support for this rule, the underlying legislation. With that, I urge my colleagues to vote yes on the previous question, yes on the rule, and Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time and move the previous question on the resolution.
The gentlelady yields back the balance over time. The question is on ordering the previous question on the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it.
Okay, shout out to everybody on the Crime Channel and Politics. So can we get to 300 thumbs up over there? We got 265 with 178 in the building. Please double tap that screen, y'all, to give us a like over there. And also on Politics, can y'all please smack the thumbs up? Hit the likes, guys. Thank you, Spooky. Tell them. Thank you. It's legal in Vegas. What's legal? Stephen Kelly is one of them from Maryland. Is it a true story? Which story? Did Donald really do that to Bubba? Oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. But it's some guy. I'm not saying that. I heard it. And then I ran across a video of that was Bill Clinton in a dress and red heels. I don't know if this is like some, I think they said it. Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Did y'all see that picture? This picture probably been circulating for years. Y'all probably know. Them women said Trump want involved. I'm hurting them. I'm not sure what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, it do seem like I'm not understanding why they're not putting a name on it. Like, why don't they put names on it? Like, they know who touched them, right? Put a name on it. Somebody said in the comments, if don't put a name on it, shut up. But pretty much say the name. Like, and some of them said they voted for him. So obviously he didn't touch everybody, but to say, I don't know. I don't know. People need to put a name on it, but people are afraid, just like they were scared of Diddy. They know money, people with money is powerful. They can pay somebody, and people go crazy. They'll do whatever for a couple bucks.
Request the yeas and nays.
Just to buy Christmas
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, further proceedings on this question will be postponed.
I need to go to the speaker Mike's whatever he had to say, because that's pretty much what the president is on. Whatever Speaker Mike say, right?
The purposes.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Jordan, and the gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Raskin, each will control 20 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Ohio.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and to insert extraneous material on H.R. 4405.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
We all support holding bad guys accountable, and we're all going to vote for this resolution. But I think a little perspective is important. Democrats have spent 6 months talking about Epstein, even though they had 4 years to do something about it. Now, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Maybe it's to go after President Trump. Never forget, they shut down the government for 43 days. They said, don't worry about our military. Don't worry about air traffic controllers. Don't worry about our economy. Don't worry about American families. No, no, no. Close the government for a month and a half because it might hurt the president. For the past decade, there's been one constant for Democrats. One constant. Go after Trump.
Okay, so here we are, because we're going to be wrapping it up. We did not get our thumbs up. Y'all not liking the content. That's so very important to me. I will stay longer if I could get the thumbs up. But it says here, the House on Tuesday took the significant step of ordering Trump, Department of Justice or Justice Department, to publicly release all the investigative files into the late conviction of Jeffrey Epstein. We know who we're talking about. The House voted 127-1 to pass the measure to the GOP. Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana, the only member voting against it. Okay, and the measures now are headed to the Senate, where the GOP leaders must quickly decide if they will send it to Trump's desk. Okay, so they got to decide in steps. Now, we do know that Trump said that if it get to his desk, he'll sign it. The president has said he'll sign the bill if Congress passes it after months of calling the issue a Democratic hoax. That's what's so crazy. So the House is voting on a bill that will compel President Trump to sign it, I guess. That will compel President Trump to release it, okay? And so if the House passes the bill, it will next go to the Senate, where its fates remain uncertain. Donald Trump, the president, has said he'll sign it. Okay. All right. So that's where we are with this right now. I want to say shout out to everybody in the building. I definitely appreciate y'all tuning in. Yes, because they had time to hide his files. They had time to do so much. They had time to rewrite a whole movie. This stuff been brewing for years. But it was a good question when someone asked, why didn't Biden them release it? Why was people really asking for it then? What was stopping them from being released under Biden? So I don't know. Donnie was jealous of Lewinsky. The president can't be compelled to sign any bill. He said that he claimed that he was going to sign it. So we'll see. We might be back, though. I got to go make a few runs, but I just wanted to see what y'all thought about that. He's still friends with Maxwell, Natasha said, too. And now that she promised not to mention him, he will be freedom. she'll be free soon. That's crazy. Everybody can see, Stevie Wonder can see what this is. Like, they moved her. Come on, man. Get out of here. They hate Trump because the top members of the parties are corrupt. Exactly. That's what it's looking like. Why would he tell her not to mention him unless he's involved in something? Come on, people. Yeah, it don't even make sense. In the beginning, I forgot who was it. Pam Bondi had already said that his name was in it, and that she had told him. I remember that being said in the beginning. It wasn't released. It was still under investigation. Oh, that's why they didn't. Oh, shoot. Every witness exonerate Trump, not just Maxwell. Yeah, he exonerated a lot of people, like the January 6th people. No, she wasn't going to mention him because he wanted to get out of prison. Take Max to the max. Okay, she the only one here now. She the only one that can pay for that. I mean, I don't know how many years ago this was. What year did his island close? When he got arrested in 2019? Was all of this stuff still going on then? I mean, I'm sure they got some younger victims if he was really about this life. But you know what? It was a neighbor of his that spoke out, that went to his house. He was so excited to tell what was going on, and he had the massage going on right in his house. And that neighbor was like, him and his wife said they'd never go back there again because they was creeped out by it. But clearly, birds of a feather flock together. I think 4 years or 5. She wanted to get out of prison. Yes, exactly. Of course, she gonna say whatever they want her to say to get out. I mean, yeah. It's been going on for 5 elections, for real. Now that's crazy, man. Look how much they protecting this. They got Diddy, didn't they? They got R. Kelly, didn't they? Let's get everybody around these people. You know, like what? But you don't get the main people. Anyway, it's disgusting. It's being protected by people at the top. That's why it's been taking so long. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you didn't subscribe to the channel, please do. And if you didn't get a chance to smack that thumbs up, please do that right now. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. For sharing. For sharing. For sharing. Thank you for sharing. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe and